Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Johan. If you are a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer or one of my friends, thanks so much for watching another one of my videos. Today, I'm filming a video that I knew I was going to film eventually, and it's one of the many things that I watched as a first, as someone who viewed a lot of YouTube videos at the beginning. A lot of my YouTube videos that I was watching were actually coming out videos, and this is probably the title of this video. And I don't know, I'm just gonna share my story. So I was telling my friend earlier, my friend Jesse, that I think I probably watched maybe over 25 coming out videos before I came out myself. Growing up, I always knew I was a little bit different. I remember being like 9 years old and thinking that this boy who lived on the street from me in Connecticut was really cool, and I wanted to be his friend. And I obviously didn't know what I felt like, what it really was. I just thought he was really cool. And then getting into middle school, I started thinking that he was even more cooler, and I wanted to be around him. And that's when I started getting the feeling that I was maybe a little different than some of the other guys. I wasn't talking about girls the same way. I saw girls as my friends, great leaders, smart, just really warm, kind-hearted people for the most part when I was in middle school. And a lot of the boys were talking about things that I was just not relating to, but I pretended like I was relating to. And then it wasn't until someone called me something that I become aware that other people might know that I was maybe a little different too. So, I was actually heavily bullied when I was in middle school. And in many ways, that impacted me a lot. But I think the most thing that I was called was gay slurs. And that made me have a feeling of, oh my God, they know that I might be this thing. I didn't even know really what it was that I was feeling. I just, like the boy, I didn't know what the word was. And I learned the word through being called bad things about it. And it was really, really tough. And I really carried on and kind of hid everything as much as I could. So I watched the way I talked, the way I walked, the way I acted in gym class, the way I acted with the girls, the way I acted with guys. I was basically like just breaking myself down inside so I can become the person that other people would be okay with to be around and find acceptable. Because clearly, from what I was hearing from my peers, and kids in that age range are generally not the kindest. I know that now, but back then I thought that was like everything, right? It was like the example of the world. And I learned from those kids, oh my God, I can't be this thing that I'm feeling inside. I have to be like the other people. I had to fit in, or try my best to just fit into the crowd, or wash into the crowd and not try to stand out so much. And that's what I did, But even doing that, I just felt so low, so low. I remember there were moments where I just wanted to, literally, I would just go home, pray to God that I was dead, that I would ask God why he made me this way. And it was really hard because I was thinking about it by myself. I was going through it by myself. And I know a lot of you guys watching this video might be going through the same feelings by yourself as well. and it's all in your head, and it's this battle inside your head, and it's just really, really it's just really tough. Just I remember praying before I went to bed to be different, and unfortunately that wasn't happening. I went through high school and I just tried my best to fit in, and act in a certain way where I was respectful, I was kind, I was hardworking, I was focusing in school so that I can use school as a way to deter from me not having a girlfriend, and me not going on dates with girls or anything like that, or seeing girls that way. I was just like working really hard at school. I was doing like cross country and track, and when I started working my part-time job and doing volunteering, I was really focusing on those things because that was my mindset. I was telling my mom, for example, I have to do these things because I have to prep for college. I have to make sure that I'm the best that I can be, so that when I go to college, I can be successful, and all those things, right? I was using it as an excuse to like avoid the questions like, oh, where's your little girlfriend? Or, oh, I saw you hanging out with that girl. Is that your girlfriend? I did as much as I could. And I went to college after. So as I mentioned in my introduction video a few videos ago, I went to the University of Connecticut and really had a great time. I met the most wonderful people and the most kindest friends, and I was just hanging out with a few of them yesterday evening. You're probably seeing this a week after where I'm filming this, but I'm very lucky to have made such wonderful friends while I was there. But even though I had made those wonderful friends, I was still battling what I was feeling inside, and I was pushing it down, my identity and my feelings. I didn't want to be gay. And so again, the same thing I did in high school. I worked really hard. I studied as much as I can, extracurricular activities, just focus on that and try to enjoy college, make memories with my friends. But I wasn't focused on boys. I really tried to veer away from having any crushes really even. And everything changed when I went to study abroad. I went to study abroad my junior year. I went to Florence, Italy. I worked really, really hard and save a ton of money so that I could do that myself. So it's not like I'm some kid that, some kids are fortunate enough to have the ability to do it and not have to worry about it financially. But it was something that I really wanted to do, and I worked really hard and made a lot of sacrifices, and I broke my back, almost literally, working hard to have the money to be able to do so. But I went to study abroad, and one of my roommates, I had 6 roommates, was a gay guy, a gay student from UConn, and that was really the first time I was interacting and being in close quarters with someone who was the same identity as me. I was a gay guy, but I was not addressing it. I was not trying to, or never thought I would be out. I had no plans at that time to ever be out. I didn't have plans to ever like get married with someone, try to fool someone into thinking I was straight. I was just gonna work hard, be career focused, and do that. But I went to study abroad not knowing anybody, and one of the things I realized was that I could have been whoever I wanted, right? I could have came out, I could have pretended I was always out, things like that. But there was a few incidents happened, and one involving my gay roommate at the time, and one of the other roommates ended up physically assaulting him, and I was kind of like, oh, this is one of the reasons why you wouldn't be out, because things like this could happen to you, and so don't ever think that you could ever do that. And I still had no plans, right? I will be honest, and then when I was studying abroad, it was the first time I downloaded Tinder, And at the time I had downloaded Grindr as well, just because I had heard about those apps, but I never knew what it were. I talked to a few people, but then I got freaked out. And I deleted, and I was like, all right, what are you doing? You can't do this. I was telling myself, you can't do this. And I didn't do anything with anybody. Honest to God, to everything I know, I didn't do anything with anybody when I was studying abroad. And I didn't do anything with anybody while I was my freshman, sophomore, and part-time in my junior year in college. But then I came back to the US after studying abroad, and I just had this feeling of, not regret, but like, I definitely evolved as a person when I was studying abroad, and part of that involvement could have been accepting myself, but I was still having a hard time accepting myself. And it's still something I work on every day, but it's not part of my gay identity. It's other things. But at that moment I came to, and I just was upset with myself that I didn't take the chance while I was away with no strangers. No one would ever find out what I was doing, and didn't get the chance to express how I was feeling for half of my life at that point. And I was just like, F it, like that summer when I came back, I did not download Grindr. And I wasn't as freaked out. And I was talking to people, and I was like, okay, cool. Okay, this could be okay. This could be fine. But then I was keeping everything secret. For myself. In a way, I was kind of like trying, it was really hard to be keeping everything to yourself. For like what reason? I don't know. I was putting myself in my own prison, my own mental prison. And everything really changed. Flash forward to like my senior year, I met my first boyfriend, the only boyfriend I've ever had, but we're no longer together, but we're great friends. And he was already out, and I don't know, I just felt like one of my biggest fears was like, how can I be out? How can I have a normal life? How do people do this? Can I ever do this? Like, I never saw what it was like to be an out gay man or have those examples around me that everything was gonna be okay. No matter how many coming out videos I watch, no matter how many, it gets better videos I watch or things I read, it was all like, it's your own mentality. You have to learn to accept yourself. And I learned that. At that point, I dated my first boyfriend for a few months, and I started to accept myself a lot more. I started to meet his friends. I started to realize that I could have a life. I could have a normal life. And the normal life, not in terms of societal ways, but like, I could have the life that I want if I work hard for it. It doesn't have to mean that, I have no life, or I could be sad forever or something like that. And yeah, I met his friends, and I was so inspired, and I started to become more comfortable with myself, and I started coming out to people. And I think one of the first people I told was one of my friends, Tiffany. Hi Tiff, if you're watching this video. And I just casually had said, oh, so I'm dating this guy, and she was wonderful and so supportive and so happy for me that she saw that I was accepting myself. Then I think I told my friend Elise. I started with friends because I realized that at that moment, especially after graduating, I had realized that I had made amazing friends, like I said at the beginning of this, that were gonna love me no matter what. And the fears that I had were fears that I created on my own, and stories that I had in my head were stories that weren't fully real, of how things could go. And I came out to majority of my friends who were in my life at that point. I didn't feel like it was something I needed to do for friends I haven't seen in years. Like, I don't have to tell them a part of my life if they're no longer part of my life. You know what I'm saying? And all my friends, I did not have one instance, so I am very, very lucky that I had a good experience. And all my friends were loving and supportive, and some of them, like my friend TJ, hi TJ if you're watching, my friend TJ kind of felt sad that I didn't do it sooner, and that I didn't do it earlier, and that I wasn't out and expressing myself while I was in school and in undergrad. And in a way, it is a little sad, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I am very lucky, unfortunately, that I was able to come out when I was 21 fully for the most part. Started to come out when I was 20, I think. And yeah, I'm very lucky because some people don't come out till their mid 30s or 40 or 50. And, you know, I was young. I might not be as young as some of the kids doing it now or the kids that did it before me, but I was happy that I started doing it at that point. You know, I was raised by a single mom, and the person that I feared telling the most was my mom, who I'm looking at a picture of right now. For a while, I had moved out after graduating, and I kind of started distancing myself because at that point, I was dating my boyfriend for a little bit at the time, my ex-boyfriend, and all my friends knew, but I never really thought I was gonna tell my mom, so I started distancing myself from her, which is really sad because, you know, she's like, we're so close in a way, but I was like, I have to distance myself because she's gonna disown me when I tell her. But I had always had plans of telling my mom, but I just didn't know when. I was just so nervous. And one time I decided that I was gonna tell her, and went to a mall. I met her up, and we were gonna go to lunch. And I was like, I'm gonna tell her at lunch. Unfortunately, though, she brought my little brother, so I was like, or one of my little brothers. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do it when my little brother's here. So I hyped up and I said, I have something to tell you. I want to share it, and please don't blame yourself. Everything's okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. But I backed out. I chickened out, and after that happened, she kept texting me like, I think I know what you're gonna tell me. I think you should tell me. I think I know what you're gonna say, so you should just tell me. And I did. I took her out to lunch, lunch on a weekend, and I said, you know, when I walked in, I wasn't nervous anymore. I was like, it is gonna be what it's gonna be, and we'll just deal with what happens afterwards. And I told her, and she just smiled. First thing she did was smile, and she just said, "All I want you to do is be happy. As long as your friends love you, you know I love you, and I just want you to be okay." And that was like such a relief, and I don't know. It was just like it made it like a non-issue for me. I was like, literally, if I can come out to my mom, I can come out to anybody. I have become really comfortable with myself. As I mentioned, I have other things that I work on when it comes to myself, and it's not related to my sexuality. There's many layers of a person, and my sexuality doesn't define me. The most defining thing for me is the fact that I'm an immigrant, and that has made so much of my life and impacted who I am today much more than my sexuality in a way. Because those struggles were real struggles, physical and emotional, not just the jail in my head sort of situation. But yeah, I'm like a Latino, Dominicano, immigrant, US citizen, college graduate, first generation, black, gay, like I'm a mix of all these things. And you know, not one thing defines everything about me. I am a melting pot of a person. And I think it's really important for people to realize that your sexuality doesn't fully define who you are or who you can be. You can be whoever you want to be, as long as you don't harm anybody. I think that's the best advice that I can give to anyone is work on yourself and do it when you're ready. I did it when I was ready, and it was the best thing that I could do for myself. And also make sure you're safe. I I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know if I'm gonna upload this, but I think it's important for people to share their stories, especially when it comes to coming out, because everybody has a different situation. And again, I'm very lucky and very fortunate that I had no negativity when it came to that in my life. And I'm super thankful and I'm super grateful. And if you're my friends watching, I love you so much, and I appreciate all the support you've given me through all the time, all the years we've known each other, or months we've known each other, because I love building people up, and I love the fact that I have friends that build me up and make me feel secure in who I am. And I hope that you watching, or your friends hype you up and build you up, and you build them up too, because we all need support in our lives, not only from ourselves but from others sometimes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different, but it's a part of me that I wanted to share. It might not be the best lighting, it might not be the best situation, but it's raw, it's me, it's my little story. And there's so many stories out there that are being go untold and are important for people to learn from as well. So be willing to open up and share with people, because it's so important, and you never know what people are going through. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If if you haven't subscribed, subscribe in the button, hit the button below. If you can, give this video a thumbs up if you could, if you want to subscribe. More fun content's gonna come. I'm gonna go on a few trips coming up, and I hope to upload those as well. But thank you so much for watching this video and taking the time out of the day to watch this video. Really appreciate it. But thank you so much, and you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.